Hi, I'm Melanie Lee, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to my podcast, That's Culty. You may know me from the Netflix docuseries Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. In that series, I was given the opportunity to come forward and share my story, and with this podcast, I'm going to continue that. This series will take you deep into the untold stories surrounding the controversial and very much still active cult, Shekinah Church, also known as 7M Films. You might know my first guest from shows such as Dear White People and most recently Unprisoned, but I know him from my high school days, and notably as the baseball bat wielding hero. If you know, you know. That is Marque Richardson. Welcome.
Buenos dias.
We're just going to sit down and have a chat because we're best friends since high school. We graduated class of 03.
Yeah.
We were babies.
Babies.
You were in the documentary for a little bit.
Yeah, they cut me out because, I was talking shit.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, talking truth.
The documentary is called Dancing for the Devil.
Dancing for the Devil.
The 7M TikTok cult.
Yeah.
Everybody loved you, by the way. The friend with the bat.
The Batman.
The Batman.
I am Batman.
That's right. Batman.
Hello, I am Batman. Hello.
So we grew up in Bellflower. Our high school was in Bellflower. I felt like it was really like family-like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I only observed it from, I always felt like I was on the outside.
Yeah.
Because Shekinah didn't allow people to get involved, like in high school activities.
Yeah.
But it was small.
I mean, it felt like it was pretty interesting using this word. Diverse.
It was.
It was diverse. Trying to how we initially met.
Was it
physics class? I think it was physics then.
10th grade, maybe.
So we met in 10th grade?
And then we did anatomy together. You were such a hard worker, really driven.
Yeah, because we were poor when I was trying to get to college. I thought that was the way to get out.
Well, you made it to USC and look at you now.
Still poor.
You're rich.
Got to name and claim it. Name and claim it.
I remember high school being really difficult for me because I was a late bloomer. I just remember I couldn't make friends. I was always wanting to get involved in school. Mm-hmm. Shekinah was always no. Yeah. Those are heathens. Yeah. Can't hang out with the heathens. But you and we were able to be friends because I think we had a lot of classes together.
We had the physics project. That's where it started with the hydraulics.
The hydraulics.
Me, you, Claire, Richard. And then Richard left.
Yeah.
Richard left the group because there was too many women in the group, which was too many girls in the group, which was 2. So there was too many. Then we would come over to your house.
Yeah, the cult house.
The cult house, which I would eat rice and sauce. I remember eating because I loved rice and the sauce. Let's put this teriyaki sweet rice on this, sauce on this rice, and let me get some of that. And we would come over there because you lived down the street.
Right. They called the Glory Girls. It was the compound house for just the girls.
Yeah.
It was a miracle that you guys even were allowed to come over.
And it was a miracle that we were even allowed to be friends because Black.
Right. And Robert has an obsession with Black people.
And it's fair. I mean, I had no judgment on it, but something felt, strange to me. It was white and
there's no furniture.
There was nothing.
Yeah.
It was plain. But I was we're just going here. We're just doing this project and, we friends now.
Yeah.
Ditch school.
Get Jamba Juice.
Man, I like crazy people. You didn't seem crazy to me at the time, but we was cool. I don't know. I just connected with strange people. I'm not calling you strange.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I'm not, but.
How dare you?
How dare you? And then I think you started inviting me to church.
Right. Because the only way for me to be able to hang out with friends is if they joined the church. And so it was a way for me to have friends. And also, they beat it into your head. Shekinah beats it into your head. Your friends are going to go to hell if they don't come. Shekinah, right. Do you want them burning? And then they visualize human burning in fire, which maybe is too soon because the Palisades fire affected me. You're oh no, I got to save my friends. I want them to be in the same safe circle that I am. Look how lucky I am because I have Robert in my life. Yeah. And so I was constantly inviting you and Claire. Hey, do you guys want to come? And you guys came one Sunday.
We did.
You guys sat in the back. I remember that day really clearly. You understood the religion, the Christianity a little bit more than she did.
Yeah. Was she Buddhist?
She was Buddhist. Yeah. And you had a specific reaction to it.
I did. First of all, just the structure of that specific church at that time, I remember, I think it was a conch shell, like a shell. Am I making that up?
Yes, they had a spiral on top.
Yeah, that specific location. I'm oh shit, okay. this is cool. I don't remember how many times we went, but every time I said, oh, look at this guy up here. Like, oh, okay, it looks like he, I mean, I don't think YouTube wasn't around back then, but it looked like he went to visit like a black church. And
yeah,
it was like
his inspiration was Creflo Dollar. Do you know him?
No, probably not.
Yeah, I haven't kept up.
Probably not.
Yeah,
he was like, oh, like, let me go to a couple black churches, or maybe just one black church, maybe one time, and let me come and start this thing and do that. So I was entertained, but I also knew that I was not joining y'all's church. I knew that from the beginning. I was like, no, this is cool. Good for you. Good for you, but not for me. So I didn't have any judgment. Well, I did have a judgment. I knew I wasn't going to do it, but it wasn't like I was cool to come with you a couple times and, meet the people. And,
They were like in heavy recruiting mode. Like you were targeted because the church, Robert and his sister Catherine, who ran the church, just thought black people were much cooler, which they are. But like...
Sorry.
It was like an obsession for them. Yeah. They thought that if they had enough black people in their congregation, it would give them status in the Christianity world. Yeah. So for them, it was like the whole like, hey, but like they wanted that kind of vibe.
That's literally how it was.
Yeah.
That's literally how it was.
Awkward. But for them, they were like, okay, Marque, they knew you were hardworking. And so they just was like, okay, we want him. They were just like recruiting black people, which is why they allowed me to stay friends with you. They wanted whites and black.
That's crazy.
You went off to college.
College happened, kept in touch, whatever, and then graduated. Reconnected, right? Because you were working at the real estate office and
the flower shop. Oh, yeah. All of us had like 3 jobs.
Yeah. Which
for Robert.
For your boy.
Yeah.
For your mans. And I was selling real estate at the time too. And so we reconnect.
But both my sisters were running his real estate offices. I mean, he literally just worked people. And now it makes sense of like why he recruited only young, attractive people. It really came down to like money and sex for him. If you're in church, you open the doors for everybody, especially the elders. For him, he was targeting young people, more that came from broken homes because they were easier to manipulate. And if you were attractive, then great, even better. And so what ended up happening, he would influence this group of young people. We're talking about people anywhere from 18 to 27,
Target demographic.
You get a bunch of young people spending a bunch of time together. They're going to want to fuck. They're going to want to like date, just little romance budding everywhere. And the first thing that he does, he doesn't allow that. He's like, okay, guys and girls, no dating policy. And the guys live in one house, the girls live in the other house. No dating, don't even look at each other, don't even talk to each other without permission. When you do that to young people, they're gonna want more. It was kind of crazy because years later, then I find out he was sexually abusing these younger women. He then was rewarding men, handpicking their wife for them. Okay, you're a good servant of mine, so which girl do you want? I will arrange a marriage. So all the marriages were arranged. Yeah. And depending where you were in his favorite, him and his sister's Catherine favorite scale, you would get the girl that you want or not. He's kind of doing it again now, right? With the dancers.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. It's just like 2.0. It's like, I only know one method. Let's repeat that over and over again.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Black and white, young, beautiful people.
Talented, more way talented than me. Not me, but like Robert. You know what I mean? Are we saying his name?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Robert. Preying on people that work hard, are talented, have an actual skill.
Always eyeing for entertainment. Even if it means putting someone that sucks on stage. Like this. Always eyeing entertainment. Then he brought his daughter Chloe in from Canada. Yeah. I actually really enjoyed her singing before Shekinah. Once she joined, like Robert makes you sing the type of songs that he thinks is going to be a hit because he thinks he's like a really famous producer. And then once she joined, he's like, no, it needs to be more pop. Show your tits, show your legs.
To your daughter.
To your daughter.
Daughter, show your tits.
Show your legs. He thought he was some producer.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, the Asian Harvey Weinstein. Yeah. I believe, in my opinion, that he wanted to always be famous.
Yeah, a shadow artist.
Yeah. Sometimes I do think about what happened to Robert's
Yeah.
childhood.
Do you know about his?
I don't know much. I just know he grew up in Canada. He felt really insecure because all his classmates were like white and beautiful in his eyes, like white and beautiful and athletic.
Yeah.
And he was Korean immigrant, and he's, like naturally small.
Small.
Like Robert is.
Like what do you mean?
Like he's a small person.
Oh, I think you're talking about something else.
Yeah, well, he would get rejected by women. Nobody wanted to date him. And then he would always talk about how he was insecure because his parents run a liquor store. The version that I've heard him talk about was that that's why he studied so hard to become a doctor.
What kind of doctor?
I don't know. And I don't even know if
Is
it's
this real?
true.
Yeah.
Like, because it was in Canada.
Ah.
And then he said that he was called by God to move to LA, leave his wife and kids, and start a ministry.
Okay.
Does God ever tell you that? Leave your wife and kids and start a ministry?
Sometimes.
Or are you running away from a crime?
Yeah.
All
the above.
And then he married someone else here, then started the ministry here with Shekinah and had 2 more kids. And he then cheated on his wife with many of the girls in the church. It was a revolving door since.
That was the whole.
Like the Shirley and the Hannah, and that's when the church split.
Gotcha.
He got busted by his sister.
Yeah.
So, that's what they say.
And that was at the church. Now I remember that was at what I would come. We did like a tap dance lesson or something. That was the church that had the fucking barbed
the
wires
barbed wire and
on
the
wall.
cameras.
And I drove up and I'm like,
are we in prison?
Yeah, like what's going on? I said,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, yeah.
Because again, that time it was still like very restrictive. Your schedule, like what you were an adult in my head, like you were over 18. Like, what the fuck is going on? You can't, even the jobs that you had too. Something felt off, but I didn't like press it.
Right.
Like didn't.
Right, like, why are you doing this?
Yeah. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You like it? I love it for you.
You do you.
That's
you do
it.
you. Well, and then he kept saying, like, we're not a cult.
He would tell y'all that.
Yeah, and people keep accusing us of being a cult. I mean, when someone tells you something every day, the same thing, and you're not able to fact check, you're not able to bounce it off of anybody else, your body takes it. I remember when you and I started hanging out, like in my early 20s.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then,
That's Rude.
That's
Yep,
Rude Comedy.
that,
You wanted to start a little production company, and you started That's Rude Comedy. And I was just happy to be involved in something exciting. And we were meeting up a lot. And then I think one day just tell you, like, this is what's going on. I actually don't remember. I probably blocked it out from trauma.
All I do remember is you telling me, however you told me, what was going on. And I feel like my face was just like, okay. But inside, I'm like, let's go.
Okay, this was definitely in person then.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was in the car.
Okay.
Like either you were dropping me off.
Even as you were telling me, I was thinking immediately, it was like Linnell.
She was your coach at the time.
She was my
Your life coach.
She had experienced something that made me think, oh, you need to talk to her, because she also had the language.
Oh my gosh, she was amazing.
Yeah.
I remember walking in, it was Snoopy's at
Yeah.
the
Snoopy's,
restaurant in Manhattan Beach.
Yeah.
They always had that fireplace in the middle.
Yeah.
And she was like sitting in the back. She reminded me,
Wizard of Oz.
she's
Mother
like a
Earth.
queen.
Yeah.
She just has a presence, right?
Yeah, for sure.
She comes in, or you walk into her room and you just like feel her energy. It was like she already knew me. I didn't have to explain anything. I said, this is what's going on. I don't want to leave because I've been told, like, I'll go to hell.
Yeah.
I'll be cursed. I'll get hit by a car. I'll be poor. I'll catch a disease, all of the above.
Yeah.
And then she sat down with me and said, I was in a cult when I was young too. And
Church.
yeah,
Look at
in the
that.
church.
In the
And then
church.
she goes, and my cult leader died in the middle of his meal.
Mm.
He literally was eating and passed out.
Mm-hmm.
She started showing me scriptures in the Bible that debunked Robert's teaching.
Yeah.
Because that's at the time is what I was holding on to, my faith. And like my faith was what was important to me at the time. She was able to get in my brain, get in my heart, and just switch it around.
Totally.
I mean, it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah,
I mean, we had
yeah.
multiple sessions.
Yep.
One time I was talking to you and I said, Robert is ignoring me, giving me the cold shoulder. He's isolating me. During sermons, he would call me out, shame me, and I would go to the bathroom and puke. And they wouldn't even give us bathroom breaks, right? I mean, it just does something to your psyche, and eventually it affects you physically too. Because at the time, I didn't believe any of the rumors that he was a sexual abuser.
Yeah.
Like
because he hadn't made any moves on
he
you at
hadn't
that
made
time.
any moves on me. He was like so big on being the man of God and I am holy, I'm holy. Remember, Linnell, you and I came up with the plan of escape, like the exit.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, 2 weeks from now. She's like, when are you ever home alone? I'm like, only once a week, because he doesn't invite me to the service. The whole thing when Melanie Wilking talks about like you have to get an invitation.
Right.
So that was still happening back then. And because I was shunned, he wasn't inviting me to Thursday night service. And I like secretly loved it. I was like,
not going to
service. I don't want to listen to your shit anyways. And so Linnell was like, that's the day Marquis going to pick you up. And that's the day you're going to leave. So pack up your stuff. But let's do it like 3 weeks from now, because we had to make sure I was able to get receipts.
Right.
You know?
All the
and so I wanted to collect receipts. I wanted to like collect everything I needed to do. Then that was when, remember when he called me and said, I need you to come to my house now. I didn't have a car because he took away my car. I didn't even have a cell phone. I had to like walk to a payphone to call you. He let me use someone's car. I went to his house and I literally thought, Marquis, I was going to get raped. Like I figured like, oh my gosh, today is the day I'm going to get raped. I think I called you on the way. And then I remember sitting in his house and him saying, you haven't proven yourself to me. And if you don't do it, like I'm going to kick you out. You leave with your shirt on your back, nothing else. No car, no phone, no money. And you're just thrown out into the world, treated like complete trash. I remember him saying like, I need you to sleep with this guy because he is horny and needs to satisfy himself and you need to prove yourself. And I remember Linnell's voice saying, don't ever do anything to tip him off. I said, okay, I'll think about it. When can I give you an answer? He's like, how much time do you need? And I was counting the days of the day from that day to the exit day we had talked about. And I said, 8 days. And he goes, you have 3. And then, I don't know if you remember. And then I got in the car. I called you. I literally pulled over and vomited. Yeah. I was like hysterically crying. Yep. And then Linnell goes, we're leaving tomorrow. Get ready. But I haven't collected all the receipts. Like, I'm like, she's like, it doesn't matter. Leave whatever. We're leaving tomorrow. Like, tomorrow is Thursday. We're doing this tomorrow. I think there's maybe one other incident in my life, like when I escaped Korea. Adrenaline was pumping. Yeah. Like, even the fires that I escaped, that I recently experienced, it wasn't even that. Like, the fires were like nothing compared to what I was trying to get done the next day. Because I was just thinking, they can stop me. They can trap me in the basement. I have no idea what these people were capable of.
Right. And you had other like evidence of like people that had left, the church that failed or
like I've heard of people who have left who got into cocaine addiction, suicide, couldn't keep a job, severe depression.
Including your sisters.
My sister, yeah. And then Robert would always say, see, like, that's what happens. That's what happens. Right. I think I was just more scared that they were going to physically harm me. Like, if I was caught in the middle of leaving. It was like you could see on the other side the freedom, but I had to cross the bridge. And the bridge was, like, it could fall. I don't know what the bridge was made out of. I just completed one task at a time. I've written an
Which is
email.
what you're great at. You just know how to check the box.
Well, the first thing I did is I wrote an email recapping our conversation, and I sent it to Robert. So I had it in writing.
Play the game.
Like yesterday, you asked me to do XYZ, and I am thinking about it. I just want to make sure this is what you want me to do. Then I went to my bank account, which I never had access to. They don't let you touch your money, but because they launder money. I took out all the cash, which was like $6,000 at the time, closed the account, and I was like scared to death they were going to somehow call Robert or Hannah, but they don't do that because I'm the account holder. So I had a bag of cash, and I didn't want to have the cash on me because in case I got caught. Absolutely. So I had to ship it off in the nighttime. And then I had to get like my hard drive, like all the evidence, all the receipts. And then I was just like waiting for it. Like I literally was shaking, like waiting for you in the house.
And to be able to do that in a house with other people.
Right.
And to do that like discreetly.
Yeah.
I don't know if were you sharing a room with somebody at that time?
Yeah, it was like 4 other roommates.
Yeah.
Everybody had left for church though.
Right, that day.
Right. And I didn't even have a cell phone. So you and I had said, like I said, park around the block
With
and
the van.
churn up when you see the last car leave, you know, and you did. And I just remember, I was like literally shaking. And then you showed up and I had like maybe like 4 boxes, you know? So I was like, here, this is it. And then I was upstairs, like just trying to grab whatever.
What I remember is showing up, we parked in the garage because we didn't think anybody was home. Like back then.
Right, yeah.
Right, going in. Was there stairs?
There were stairs.
Right, going upstairs, doing your thing, blah, blah. Elizabeth, that's her name. She comes out. She's like, what are you doing? What's going on? And I just remember you know, of course, crying like, you know exactly why I'm leaving or what, you know, what's going on.
Right.
And she's like, oh. And then she gets on the phone. So I'm thinking,
You were like, get the fuck out of the way.
I was like, yeah, something like that. And grab your shit, Mel. I said, fuck her, grab your shit.
Yeah, like
Keep
you were like, let's
leaving.
go.
Let's go.
Yeah, like
Keep
we're not
moving.
stopping.
Nah.
Like let's go.
Fuck all that.
And then I started sobbing.
Yeah. I mean, it was not funny, but it was like, stay the course.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't know who the fuck is going to come back, because that was the deal. Like, we
Right.
had to get in there and get out before all the other people came back to the house.
Yeah.
We lighting the shit up in the van, and then from what I remember, I see a car pull up in front of the garage, like to block the van. And I'm thinking, shit, here we go. Because also I had the bat.
Right.
Like I said, I don't know what I was going to do with that
I
bat.
remember when you showed up, you were like, I brought a bat. I was like, what? A bat? Oh, I never knew you were a violent person. You said you've never gotten into a physical fight your entire life.
I've been fighting. I've been fighting.
Okay.
Well, first grade, I don't know if that counts, but I was fighting every day of my life in first grade.
Oh,
This
okay.
dude named, not like as an adult. Like I never.
Oh, yeah,
had
as
to.
an adult, the thought of that happening, my brain didn't go there, that this could get violent.
When that car pulled up, I really don't remember what happened after that, but I think you said something happened, and then the car backed off. I think you said something like,
Be gone.
get the fuck out of the way or some shit. I kind of blacked out around that time. And then I just remember us getting in the van and driving to freedom, which was
I think we went to Starbucks.
the first stop, Starbucks. Shout out to Starbucks.
Yeah.
We linked up with the other sister and her husband because you were about to stay with them?
They provided housing. So I didn't stay with them, but I stayed with their friend in
Gotcha.
Koreatown.
Right. And then that ended up turning into another situation.
Right.
Because they had recently left, or was it a year
No,
prior?
they had left like maybe 2 years prior.
Okay.
They left in the big split when Catherine and Robert split because of the sexual assault abuse that he was doing with the girls. And then Catherine also was trying to hog all the businesses and take all the money.
All the businesses.
All the
being real
businesses.
estate company, being the flower shop.
Yeah, and so the reason why she targeted my older sisters, because my older sister was running the real estate office. So she only targeted people who were running the businesses. Like for her, it was money. For him, it was sex. You know, what a great duo.
Money and sex.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
sister and brother duo. And so
Yikes.
I think when you get to a certain level, you think you're invincible.
You mean
Like
regarding
human,
them?
like them. Like
Okay,
they just thought they can go and abuse people, whether it's abuse them through free labor or abuse them sexually. I guess that's what power does to you, right? You think you're above the law. You think you can get away with stuff because,
Until you do it to a white girl.
oh, can you say that again?
Until you do it to a white girl. So,
Oh, we're going to just take a moment.
back after these commercial breaks. Yeah.
We don't have any ads yet.
No ads. That's fine.
That's why when I saw her video, I didn't believe it. I was like, who are they talking about? It was not only Miranda. He had Kylie And there was another dancer who's really talented and she's gorgeous. I forgot her name. Robert's not attracted. I did my little research of cults, and the cult leaders were all kind of like attractive, like somewhat. Like the psychotic killers. They have like something going for them. Yeah. And then there's Robert. And then it's like, What my sister told me is that Robert has gotten really good since I left. More bold, more confident, good at his craft.
Like a better consman, sales.
Yeah, exactly. It works both ways. Like practice makes perfect. Yeah. It. And she said, when she told me these words, it was chilling. She goes, he's not the same Robert you knew. Because when I left, he was a pretty fucked up person. The fact that he even became worse after I left, it was like chilling. And, to be fair, I really didn't need this to reappear in my life. Of course, I understand how life works. But I was living such a happy life with my kids, with my husband, with my beautiful house. Nobody knows about this shit. Yeah. I'm going to bury it in the grave. Like nobody's going to know. Yeah. And then now the whole world knows.
It has been so inspiring and just in awe to see how you have gone from where we first met to where you are today.
For the both of us. Look at us now.
Sure.
Remember we became roommates? So you slept on the couch.
Yeah. And the floor with Einstein.
Yeah. And then we got a dog, Einstein, the corgi.
Shout out to Einstein.
I was like looking on Craigslist, looking for jobs. You were trying different things, going auditions, going for jobs. We would come home, talk about our shitty days, how we got rejected.
Car got repaired.
Yeah.
Yep. Grandma, I had walked into a call center because in the orientation, they were like, this doesn't matter, but in the orientation, it was with a group of people walking to this call center. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I have a degree. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm a USC graduate.
What am I doing? God. And so I walk into this call center and like we're doing the orientation and then the instructor says something and is like, and guess what? If you guys get a certain amount of, revenue for the company that you're calling for, you're going to get a 10-cent raise on your check. The whole place started cheering. And I looked to my left and I looked to my right and I stood up, I grabbed my bag and I walked towards the front door and the receptionist was like, "Are you leaving?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Are you coming back?" I said, "Fuck no. No." And I left and I started doing background work, not that it matters, but yeah.
You were doing like legitimate work.
No, yeah. But initially my ego was like, I can't do background work. I've been working in this business for all this time. And so I was doing the background work, but I was also hiding on set. So I was like, let me just go get this check and let me just go hide behind this bush so nobody will see me that I'm doing this background work. And then I started one job. True Blood led to the next, the next, and then but that around that time is when for both of us, I feel like we're learning how to like trust the process, trust the nuggets of like life.
Like we were growing up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were growing up.
Tough.
I remember you would come home, talk about True Blood. I would go all to your theater stuff.
Yeah.
And
improv, UCB.
I remember you were like cleaning the theater because you couldn't afford the program.
Right.
That work ethic I had seen since high school. You would wake up, run track, run YBS, Young Black Scholars.
Shout out to YBS.
Get straight A's because I saw that in you. I was like, people could work hard and not have to be part of Shekinah.
Oh, I'm supposed to say, people could work hard and have nothing. People could work the hardest they've ever worked their whole life and be on the streets. What does it bring you? What does hard work
No,
bring you?
because like Robert, he always used to say, only people who work for God are the hardest workers. And so then when I saw you, I was like, you can do this and not be part of Shekinah. Yeah. And at the time, for me, I was trying to figure out like how to date. I met a friend named Rachel who was great. Yeah. And she goes, you need to date 13 guys this year because you've never dated in Shekinah.
This is a movie.
You need to date 13 guys. Like we're going to do this. And that was a wild year. I didn't hit 13. Yeah.
How many did you hit?
I think it was like 4. It was a very ambitious number.
Fail.
I failed. And then I remember you saying, think of it dating like a buffet.
You
gotta like
wild shit.
Try it all out and figure out which one you like,
Sure.
Yeah.
And
so I was figuring that out. We were kids. We were kids.
Yeah.
That apartment is
Totally.
where we found ourselves.
Totally.
You found your calling.
Totally.
I found my calling.
Yeah.
You know, in the sense like post Shekinah.
Yeah. The lawsuit.
Oh, right. That's right.
that-
So then I was working in an office.
Another lawsuit.
Another lawsuit. Another one.
Yeah.
I needed closure. I kept having nightmares. I was constantly obsessing about them.
Yeah.
And I see that's just kind of a trait you have when you leave Shekinah because it's all you know. And you're afraid they're coming after you, which they kind of were. They're constantly calling me. They wanted their $6,000 back. They seemed very entitled to it, given it was under my name.
Right,
and I worked for them for free for years.
That was a deal.
Yeah,
right?
that you got a deal.
Slave labor.
And then I met a really good friend who was a lawyer, and I was like telling her about this. And this is like the one thing that I did. I was constantly telling everyone about my story because I realized it was healing.
Yeah.
And even of course, there were people that judged me. I mean, even guys that I dated judged me and broke up with me because of it. But then every time I told somebody, I either gained a really good friend for life or I got to see your true colors, which I don't want you in my life anyways. But this friend, her name is Serene, she was like, you need to sue him. She goes, why don't you do like what's it called? Like the wage, like the lost wage claim through like the labor of commissioner.
Right.
Which is it's an easy process. You can do it yourself.
Yeah.
I did end up hiring a lawyer, but he like was very sympathetic to my situation. I remember we had to sit in a tiny room and Robert was sitting like this in the table for like 7 hours straight. I remember I was shaking the entire time, facing my abuser. And he was just staring at me. I thought I was going to lose. He was so confident that he was going to win. And then he lost. And then the labor commissioner pulls me aside and goes, I need you to walk down the hallway and go talk to the DA. This is out of my jurisdiction. I didn't end up doing it. It takes so much courage to report abuse to the authorities. You have to be in the state of mind where you're sane and you have your shit together to be able to tell a story that is so gruesome. And I wasn't there. So I just wanted to go home. After 7 hours sitting across this monster,
Right.
I did not want to go down the hall and talk to a DA.
Remember when you did get out, like sleeping for days. Just like, you okay? You okay?
You alive?
You alive? Just sleep. Just sleep.
And I remember my attorney at the time, he ran into Robert in the bathroom. My attorney told me, Robert looks pissed. Like his face was red and he was cursing. And I was like, yes. Like that was my closure.
Yeah.
Like I won.
Yeah.
I beat this guy.
Yeah.
Like he is not invincible.
Yeah.
He is not always winning. He's not victory's mine all the time. Like, like he actually is beatable. You can beat this guy. And I remember thinking that was the beginning of my healing journey. Less nightmares, being more present, enjoy the new experiences, like enjoy the new relationship. I started going back to school and like I needed to have that experience and that this guy is not special.
I don't know if you've talked about it before, but like how it was structured in terms of like the businesses and the people that would work for his businesses would not get paid. Like y'all would get allowances, like
$100 a month. Yeah. And even that we had to write down on our notebook, like where we spent every dollar. And then if you spent too much, because I don't know how much you can spend too much from $100 a month, you get in trouble. Granted, it's made me a very resilient person.
Absolutely.
They don't let you celebrate your birthdays. In fact, they make you feel like less of a person. And so now I overcompensate my birthdays or I overcompensate my kids' birthdays.
Interesting.
You know, like over the top. So everybody has like that one thing that they overcompensate.
This is why when I saw the documentary and you and Pre, you and
Pre, yeah.
Okay,
Pre.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you and Pre were having that conversation. And I think you had mentioned something about your birthday.
Devin's birthday.
Yeah. And you was
and how
giving it to her good.
Yeah.
Fussing her out. And then I had a flashback of when you fussed me out for coming late.
Oh,
to your
that's right.
birthday.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even
I was sitting there and Tip was like, let's say she got a thing about them birthdays now. You better be there. You better be there on time. You better be there early. I'm not showing up late to a male birthday party ever again.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Birthdays are a big deal for me.
It makes
Yeah.
sense.
And like I go all out, like, well, not anymore
Yeah.
because now like it's been 15 years, like it's been like 14 years, 14,
fucking
15
crazy.
years. Yeah.
That's
But
crazy.
I know. But see, other people have other stuff. There's this one lady who had a eating disorder and
What do you mean?
like in Shekinah.
Oh.
And after she left, all she did was eat. And I think she has diabetes now, so it's like,
It's not funny.
it's not funny, but everybody has their like post Shekinah like thing they have to work through. And my thing is birthday parties.
Yeah.
So if I'm throwing a birthday party,
I'll be
everyone's invited.
Everyone's invited. and
Everyone's invited.
you better be there the day before early.
Yeah.
Waiting.
Don't show up late. You and my sister. Don't show up late. Okay, well,
I got it.
thanks, Marque.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do you want to do it again?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Have me on, no
I know you're
problem.
busy, but,
Sure.
everybody wants to be your friend.
Well, they cannot. I don't have time for that. But if you see me on the street, say hello. But no, seriously, shout out to you and really just taking ownership and reclaiming your power and
Thank
life.
you. Well, shout out to us. We've come a long way
We have.
since high school.
We still got a long way to go.
I know.
Hopefully.
The next 10 years is our best.
That's it. We're living our best life ever. The best is yet to come.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today. This is Melanie Lee, and you're listening to That's Culty.